The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 19, reveal that Martin Lawrence aka Alan Laurent will face his last resort while Traci Abbott needs help. Sharon Newman will also want the truth, so here's what Y&R fans can look forward to. For starters, Traci will mull over Alan's idea to jaunt over to Paris and check out some possible wedding spots. Will Traci get on board with Alan's plan to take a trip there so suddenly? Traci will turn to Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott for advice in Wednesday's episode. That could give Traci a chance to confess some worries regarding Alan's strange behavior and impulsive streak. However, Jack and Diane may not see any reason to be too alarmed. Diane and Jack might give Traci a nudge to take this Paris trip with Alan and just enjoy the wedding planning process. Of course, there are indeed reasons to be concerned since Alan's mentally disturbed twin, Martin, appears to be alive and playing the part of his brother. Since Martin's secrets, including his role in the Havehurst captivity chaos, could be on the verge of blowing up, he may be planning this Paris escape as a last resort. Traci could be in serious trouble, especially if Martin gets her out of the country. At Crimson Lights, Nick Newman will give Sharon an answer now that she's asked him to join her in Europe. Sharon is hoping Nick will be part of her trip with Faith Newman and that they can all go spend time with Noah Newman. This will lead to a deeper discussion about where things truly stand between Sharon and Nick. After Sharon admits she sometimes thinks about a romantic reunion, she'll wonder if that thought ever crosses Nick's mind, too. Sharon will encourage Nick to be honest about what's in his heart, so he'll have to decide how to proceed. Will Nick confess to wanting more than friendship or try to keep things platonic instead? Sharon will eagerly await Nick's updates, so stay tuned to see if his honesty will mean good news for their relationship. Across town, it looks like Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson will finally let passion take control. All signs point to Chelsea and Adam landing back in bed together, so they'll make more predictions about the positive road they're headed down. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Adam and Chelsea's future seems bright at the moment, but fresh obstacles should be coming up sooner or later. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless scoop for Tuesday, March 18 reveals Lily Winters will be alarmed when she sees Audra Charles getting chummy with Holden Novak. Also coming up, Summer Newman will make an admission to Kyle Abbott. Plus, Nate Hastings will head to Chicago with Damian Kane. Y&R spoilers tease Summer will update Kyle on what happened to Phyllis Summers. She'll thank him for being so supportive while her mom was missing. Of course, you were scared for Phyllis and rightly so, he'll reply. Y&R Daily Scoop. Claire sees Summer and Kyle together again. Then Summer will move in close, putting her hand on Kyle's arm, just as Claire Newman walks into the coffee shop. She'll move towards Kyle and make it clear to Summer that she and Kyle had a great night together. He'll ask if she wants to have lunch, but Claire will say she needs to get back to the office. After she leaves, Summer will say it sounds like he's free for lunch, so is she. So they'll head to the GCAC and run into Victor Newman. How come the two of you are together? He'll ask. Summer will say Claire bailed on Kyle, so she's taking him for a mercy lunch. Victor will ask how things are going with his father at Jabot, and Kyle will say things are great. That's good to hear, Victor will reply, but Kyle won't buy it. Why are you asking questions about Jabot? What do you really want to find out? Victor will say he doesn't give a damn. He was merely being polite in front of his granddaughter. When Kyle joins Summer, she'll say part of Victor's animosity is to pull him and Claire apart. Kyle will say he hates that he and Claire are together, and he'll ask Summer why he cares. I think my grandpa thinks that we should get back together, she'll reply. Kyle will say he has no right to dictate people's leaves. She'll tell him Victor recently reminded her they share a child, and that we should show a united front for Harrison's sake. Then she'll say she hopes he knows she's not advocating for it. At Nate's place, he'll meet with Lily&Devon Winters. Damian will arrive and say his mother was admitted to the hospital. The doctor wanted to start the experimental treatment immediately. Nate will say he hadn't heard anything. Then again, he'd silenced his phone. He'll check and see messages from the doctor and from Amy Lewis. Damian will tell Devon and Lily he wonders why they admitted his mom right away. "A part of me can't help being nervous," he'll admit. What if something goes wrong? But Lily will advise he shouldn't jump to conclusions. Damian will say he'd love to go to Chicago to be with Amy. Young and the restless scoop, Nate beams at his half-brother Damian. "Maybe we both can go to Chicago, be there for her when they release her," Nate will suggest. Damian will say he thinks it's a great idea. Nate will ask Lily&Devon if they can cover for him and work, and they'll say of course they can. "Thanks guys, it means a lot that my brother can be there with my mother and me," Damian will tell them, as Nate beams at him. Meanwhile, Audra will sit with Holden at Society's bar. She'll tell him she's waiting for Nate. Then she'll ask if he changed his plans to return to LA because of her. "I'll admit, when I realized I'd be stuck here for a while, I thought of you," he'll reply. But Audra will make herself clear. Our past is just the past. Her phone will ring. It's Nate, saying he's going to Chicago with Damian to support Amy. "It looks like you are free after all," Holden will say. They'll joke around and reminisce about when they hung out in LA. Then Devon and Lily will walk in and approach them. Devon will say they look like they're having a good time. Audra will say she heard the news about Amy. She'll add there's something about her that touches her heart. "Yeah, I can see that," Lily will reply snidely. "You seem like you're a lot brighter recently." The joking, the smiling. Then they'll head to their table and Holden will say it doesn't look like Nate's family has warmed up to her as much as he has. Finally, Lily will ask Devon what he thinks that's all about. But Devon will tell her Nate and Audra's relationship is their business. However, Lily won't be so sure. "I just feel like there's a lot more to the story than Damian and Holden are telling us." But is she right? The young and the restless spoilers have fans questioning if Traci Abbott is engaged to Alan Laurent or his evil twin Martin Laurent. Fans know that Martin supposedly died when they fell out the window in Paris. Instead of switching places, could this be a psychological issue? Does Alan have grief-induced psychosis? How Ashley Abbott's did lead to 2 Alan Laurents. All of this started while Alan was treating Ashley Abbott's did. However, fans remember that Martin kidnapped Alan at some point and began to impersonate him. The problem seems to have happened when Ashley ended up with several personalities to deal with this. Martin had apparently been committed at one point. Martin was jealous of Alan and wanted to be like him instead of being the brother who had to be taken care of. However, Martin completely messed with Ashley's head while he was impersonating Alan. Ashley thought she had told Alan something that he didn't remember at all. Alan believes she shared this information with Martin instead of him. Martin Laurent messed up Ashley Abbott badly. Martin wreaked havoc when he was posing as Alan, especially with Ashley. Ashley was happily married to Tucker McCall. Ashley and Tucker had one little argument that Martin blew out of proportion, and that was the end of them. Tucker tried to tell Ashley that things were not as she remembered them, but could never get through to her. Tucker tried several times to fix things with Ashley to no avail. It wasn't until Alan was discovered and Martin was exposed that Ashley finally admitted that she was wrong. Ashley wasn't ready to try and repair things, but she and Tucker parted as friends. Martin's damage isn't completely done yet, as Ashley has told her daughter she isn't 100% yet. Alan Laurent feels guilty for not helping Martin Laurent. Alan feels very bad that he couldn't help his brother. Unlike Martin, Alan actually loved his brother and wanted him to get better. Alan wanted a relationship with him. Alan was overwhelmed with grief because he blamed himself for his brother's death. However, it is a relief that his brother cannot hurt anyone else. Now Alan has kidnapped Phyllis Summer and Sharon Newman and put them through a huge experiment that affected them both psychologically. Since Martin and Alan couldn't have really switched places, could Martin have did himself and a second personality being none other than Martin? Perhaps this is the only way that Alan can live with the loss of his brother. The young and the restless spoilers hint that Claire Newman's pregnancy might be the only way to stop Summer Newman. Will Kyle Abbott's baby create a forever bond with Claire and change the game? Summer has a forever link of her own with Kyle since they're co-parenting Harrison Abbott. As Harrison's adoptive mother, Summer is always going to be connected to Kyle through the child they share. Y and R fans know Summer has definitely been using this Harrison bond to her advantage lately. Claire cares about Harrison too, so Summer must realize it's the one angle she can work without getting too much pushback from Kyle and his girlfriend. That said, Claire can tell what Summer's up to and certainly doesn't like it. Despite Claire's attempts to act like she's not feeling threatened, insecurities are clearly creeping up and could lead to bigger problems. Victor Newman has been hyping up how Summer and Kyle need to present a united front for Harrison's sake. Although Victor would prefer to see both granddaughters free of Kyle, he'd obviously rather see Kyle with Summer than Claire. However, there might be a way for Claire to level the playing field when it comes to Summer. Since there's been so much focus on how Harrison links Kyle and Summer, could Claire end up pregnant and give Kyle a permanent link to her as well? It might be interesting if Claire's sneaky side came out to play a little bit here. Jordan raised Claire, so that part of her is still in there somewhere, just waiting to come out for a new storyline. Could Claire get pregnant on purpose and hope it locks in her future with Kyle? Summer could at least accuse Claire of that if she ends up with Kyle's bun in the oven. Even if Claire gets pregnant by mistake due to some birth control mishap, Summer could still toss accusations around and add to the conflict between them. Perhaps Summer could try to get inside Kyle's head and act like Claire's trying to trap him. Whatever the case, Kyle and Claire have been sleeping together for a while now, so the door's wide open for a pregnancy story if Y and R wants to go there. The young and the restless spoilers say Victor will continue to make doomed predictions about Kyle and Claire's future, but will he be proven right? Could Kyle and Claire's baby be the game changer that Claire needs? Summer, Kyle and Claire's love triangle will come with more twists and turns, so stay tuned for updates on any stunning news ahead. The young and the restless spoilers reveal there are 4 twists that Genoa City will never see coming. Some big surprises are brewing on the CBS soap, so here's what fans can look forward to. 1. Alan aka Martin revealed as Sharon and Phyllis' kidnapper. Of course, we have to start with the big reveal everyone's waiting for. Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers still have no idea who was running the sinister game they were forced to play at Havehurst, but they'll find out the truth soon. This is actually multiple twists rolled into one since it looks like Martin Lawrence survived and ultimately took Alan Lawrence's place. That means it'll be a double whammy for those who think they know Alan and consider him a nice guy. It should eventually come out that Alan is Martin, and he's the one who was running the terrifying kidnapping show. 2. Ian's survival discovered. Ian Ward is another villain who's believed to be deceased, but viewers watched him gasp for air and open his eyes in the ambulance. Y and R clearly did that to pave the way for Ian to make a comeback down the road. The morgue confirmed that Ian was cremated, so it seems like Ian got some help to fake his demise. It may take months or even longer for Ian's survival to be discovered, but you can bet that shocker will hit Genoa City eventually. 3. Daniel's wild side comes out. The young and the restless spoilers say Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s wild side will come out a bit in the coming weeks. We'll see Daniel make a connection with someone and let his emotions lead him down an interesting path. Although this won't quite be a romance, Daniel might dance around the possibility of one. Could Daniel get closer to Sally Spectra or someone else who's already in a relationship? 4. Jack and Victor's turning point. Victor Newman and Jack Abbott's feud can't stay at this intensity forever. Jack and Victor are never going to be best buddies, but they may at least find a way to keep their rivalry under control. In the past, there have been times when Victor and Jack were able to call a truce. There's a good chance another truce is coming up somewhere down the line, so Jack and Victor may reach a turning point. It's easy to imagine some dangerous crisis that brings the Newmans and Abbotts together. V. Eichter doesn't currently believe peace is possible with Jack, but something may happen that proves his prediction wrong in the months ahead. Y and R will deliver these shockers and a whole lot more, so stay tuned for updates on all the exciting news to come. S where you want to be for terrific Young and the Restless spoilers, news and updates, so visit us frequently for more info. The Young and the Restless. Billy Flynn is making a big career move, saying goodbye to Days of Our Lives after 10 years as Chad Dimira and heading straight for Genoa City. With the Young and the Restless set to introduce him this spring, one big question remains: who will he be playing? CBS has kept details under wraps, but we know he'll be stepping into an entirely new role. That leaves the possibilities wide open. Could he be a corporate powerhouse, a secret heir, or a romantic wildcard? Here are a few ways Y and R could use Flynn to shake things up. A corporate threat on the horizon. One possibility is that Flynn will step into the shoes of a high-powered businessman, maybe even Aristotle Dumas. His name has been floating around as the mysterious figure pulling strings behind Damian's company. If Flynn is stepping into that role, Aristotle might be younger than expected but no less dangerous in the corporate world. If he's playing a cutthroat CEO, that could put him directly in Victor's crosshairs. Maybe he's a former protege who learned from the best or worst before launching his own empire. His arrival could mean trouble for Newman Enterprises and even the Abbotts. Another route Y and R could take is tying Flynn's character to a legacy family. The Brooks family, once a core part of the show's history, hasn't been in the spotlight in years. Flynn could be playing the son of Lori Brooks, giving him instant ties to Genoa City's past while allowing him to carve out his own story. Lori was once linked to Maxwell Hollister, a businessman who took on Victor and lost. What if Flynn's character is their son, returning to town with a score to settle? That could pit him against Victor while also throwing him into the mix with the Abbotts and Newmans. A fresh start with a romantic twist. Of course, Flynn's character may have no connections at all, at least at first. Y and R could introduce him as a charming newcomer with a hidden agenda. He could arrive in town as a love interest for Claire, Summer, or Lily, sparking fresh romantic entanglements. If he sets his sights on Summer, he'd be directly at odds with Kyle. If he pursues Claire, it could put him in a complicated situation with the Newmans. And if he catches Lily's eye, that could bring a whole new dynamic to her life, one that could turn heads at Chancellor Winters. Whatever role Flynn steps into, one thing is certain: he's bringing plenty of intrigue with him. Whether he's a ruthless businessman, a long-lost heir, or a romantic wildcard, his presence in Genoa City is bound to stir up drama. Who do you think Billy Flynn will play on The Young and the Restless? Let us know your thoughts. Also, keep coming back to Soap Opera Daily for more updates like such. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, March 18 tease that Victor Newman schools Kyle Abbott, while lovely Lily Winters has her suspicions. Lily understandably is sus about shady Damian Kane. He is interested in her, but she knows he's a player. For example, who exactly is his boss? Aristotle Dumas, the real owner of the companies he's running. Look for Lily to be confused as she tries to puzzle everything out. Lily is sus about Damian. Meanwhile, Damian's partner Holden Novak continues to pursue Audra Charles. Audra has set clear boundaries, but blatant Holden may try to flirt with and perhaps kiss Audra. Will she have to remind him that she's committed to Nate Hastings? Elsewhere, Victor stirs the pot for Kyle and Claire Newman. Victor does not approve of this relationship, as Kyle will learn in no uncertain terms. Victor is ruthless and not a man to be disobeyed. You got that. Victor stirs the pot. Victor and Claire have talked about her feelings for Kyle, but she shouldn't take that to mean that Victor is okay with Claire. While Victor agreed not to sabotage things, he won't let Claire and Kyle forget how he feels about their union. Victor does not approve of Claire. Will Victor subtly intimidate Kyle about his relationship with Claire? Victor thinks that Kyle should be with Summer Newman, and he hasn't been quiet about it. At the same time, it's interesting to see how Victor will tread the tight line between favoring one granddaughter over the other. We predict that Victor drops hints about what the future holds with the indication that Claire is better off without Kyle. Skyle or Claire, which do you prefer? After all, Skyle make a happy little family with Harrison Abbott, at least to Victor's way of thinking. Spoiler alert, Kyle faces an awkward moment at Crimson Lights with Claire and Summer. Are these two divas about to bear claws over Kyle? Definitely maybe. The young and the restless fans keep coming back here for more spoilers on what to expect as spring arrives in GC, and Kyle has to make a decision on his future with Claire and Summer. In the intricate world of love and deception, nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. For years, speculation swirled that Billy and Phyllis were destined to be together, their union seen as a prophecy of love and healing. Friends and foes alike envisioned their relationship as the key to mending old wounds and bringing a sense of completeness to their lives. However, fate, with its cruel sense of irony, had other plans. Beneath the surface of seemingly destined unions lurked ulterior motives and elaborate schemes designed to shatter trust and dismantle hope. What appeared to be a blossoming romance between Billy and Phyllis was, in truth, nothing more than a carefully orchestrated illusion, a deceptive web meant to ensnare and betray. Amidst this tangled web, Sally found herself at a crossroads. Her tumultuous relationship with Billy had been a whirlwind of fleeting tenderness and deep-seated humiliation. Part of her longed to break free, yet the fear of public disgrace kept her trapped. Determined not to be a mere footnote in their twisted love story, Sally sought to reclaim her dignity. One fateful evening, overwhelmed by her emotions, Sally sought solace in a dimly lit bar, a familiar place where secrets flowed as freely as the drinks. It was here that fate intervened, bringing her face to face with Adam. Their meeting was anything but coincidental. The haze of alcohol blurred the edges of reality, and soon, their conversation took an emotional turn. Sally, her voice laced with vulnerability and accusation, confronted Adam with the question that had tormented her for so long. "Why did you sleep with Chelsea when we were still together?" The words hung in the air, heavy with betrayal and heartbreak. Adam, sensing the gravity of the moment, fought to maintain his composure. His normally confident eyes flickered with anguish as he responded, "Sally, I swear to you I never did that. I have always loved you. I never let anything come between us. Chelsea was nothing more than a fleeting distraction. I kept my distance, always holding on to what we had." For a fleeting moment, his heartfelt words softened the pain Sally felt. A guilt-ridden doubt crept in. Had she overreacted? Had her own anger driven an irreparable wedge between them? Just as she began to entertain the thought of reconciliation, an unspoken truth loomed over them, one neither had yet fully grasped. Unbeknownst to Sally, she was carrying a secret that would change everything. She was pregnant, and the child growing within her was not Adam's, it was Billy's. The revelation of her pregnancy struck Sally like a tidal wave. It was a truth that threatened to upend every decision she had made and every relationship she had left behind. The thought of Billy as the father of her child was overwhelming. For Billy, the news was an even harder pill to swallow. The idea that his child was conceived in the midst of betrayal and deception sent him into a whirlwind of emotions, rage, denial, and, somewhere deep down, responsibility. For Adam, the realization that the child was not his left him devastated. His commitment to Sally had been unwavering, yet this revelation risked shattering the foundation of their bond. The idea of raising another man's child was a burden he wasn't sure he could bear. As the truth settled, Sally knew she had a decision to make. She could try to rebuild with Adam, hoping he would accept the child as his own. She could turn to Billy, though she knew his heart belonged elsewhere, or she could take the most difficult path, one of independence. Determined to break free from the toxic cycle of manipulation and heartbreak, Sally chose to embrace single motherhood. She would create a life for her child that was untouched by the betrayals of the past. No longer would she allow herself to be a pawn in Billy and Phyllis's endless love games. No longer would she wait for Adam to decide if he could accept her truth. She would stand on her own, ensuring that her child grew up surrounded by love, stability, and security. With each passing day, Sally grew more resolute. She prepared for motherhood with quiet determination, seeking out parenting classes, securing a stable home, and building a future on her own terms. Her past no longer defined her. Her child would be her legacy, a testament to her strength and resilience. In the grand tapestry of life, Sally had reached a crossroads. She could allow the weight of heartbreak and deception to crush her, or she could rise above it, forging a new path filled with love, hope, and unwavering determination. And so, with a heart full of resolve, she stepped forward into a future that was entirely her own, ready to embrace the challenges and joys of motherhood, free from the shadows of the past. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. James Hutton died of mesothelioma on August 27, 2024, at the age of 75, but his wife Karen did not want to discuss the matter until now. Our sister site explains that Hutton's name may not be immediately familiar to you, but trust us, you know his work as an actor. He got his big break when he was cast in The Young and the Restless as lawyer Greg Foster, Nikki Newman's first husband. He was replaced by Yellowstone MVP in 1979. Hutton was among the original cast of Dallas spin-off, Knots Landing as record producer Kenny Ward. He generated more broken hearts than hit singles. Just ask the long-suffering Mrs. Ward Ginger. Below, that's her catching her better half in a compromising position with J.R. Ewing's former mistress, special guest vixen Kristen Shepard. Later, Hutton passed through the Dynasty's spin-off as Senator Cash Cassidy, a formidable foe of Charlton Heston's Jason Colby, who was not accustomed to meeting resistance of any kind. Blake Carrington never had to put up with that sort of bleep. In 1991, Hutton returned to Genoa City, this time in the writer's room as a scribe for The Young and the Restless. He won 4 Daytime Emmys and was nominated with the other members of the team a whopping 14 times. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman could still be in danger from their kidnapper. Alan/Martin Laurent knows that there was a security breach at the clinic where he was keeping Phyllis and Sharon. Are they still in danger from him after their escape? Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman were kidnapped for a reason. Phyllis and Sharon were not just randomly kidnapped. These ladies were taken for a reason. The fact that Nick Newman helped save them isn't going to settle well. Alan hasn't planned for them to get out at all. The gas was even trigged to go off at a certain time to kill both of them. Now that the experiment is done, Alan's phone has alerted Traci Abbott to a problem. Alan and Traci just got engaged before she saw the messages on the phone. Alan's excuses aren't making a great deal of sense. Traci knows that Alan's phone doesn't have some sort of a virus or malware. Alan Laurent drugged these ladies before. Phyllis and Sharon were both drugged to get them to the clinic. Alan has also poisoned both of the ladies while they were at the clinic. It isn't safe for these two to stay in town because they would be sitting ducks once again. How did Alan even get to them on Valentine's Day? Would Alan go after them once again? Alan has dealt with this with his brother for years. Actually, Martin could be posing as Alan. Whichever one of the men are around, they have no idea what he looks like, so he could decide to befriend them and take them right back to where he has been holding them. Nick Newman is trying to send Sharon Newman out of town. Nick seems to agree that it is a good idea for Sharon to go out of town. However, Nick doesn't know who kidnapped Sharon. How do Nick and Sharon not realize that she could be followed? If Alan is going to go to these lengths, does he really not believe he would come back? Alan had to be following her for some time already. These same issues apply to Phyllis as well. How did Alan know about their rift? Could Martin have been locked up with Sharon or Phyllis at one time? Someone needs to consider all of this before sending either lady on a vacation. If they don't see them missing in Genoa City, how will they find them when they are out of town? Come here for all things Y and R. Check back often for the Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Alan Laurent, also known as Martin Laurent, is expected to appear on security camera footage near a hardware store. This prompts Chance Chancellor to rush and prevent him from boarding a flight to Paris with Traci Abbott as he seeks to protect her life. Chancey's shocking discovery. During the week of March 17-21, Chancey's investigation will take an intriguing turn when he uncovers a remote-controlled device attached to the gas line at Havener Psychiatric Clinic. By doing some research, he will discover that this equipment was purchased at a nearby hardware store. Fortunately, there's security footage available that captures everyone who entered and exited the store, which will be scrutinized for anyone that Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers may recognize. At some point, the footage is bound to reveal Alan, leading to a surprising revelation for Chance. Unless Alan paid for the equipment with cash, there should be a paper trail, and even if not, there may be camera footage from inside the store as well. Chance will confirm Alan bought the device. Chance should eventually uncover that Alan is the one who acquired the device, leading to a clearer understanding of the situation. The experiences that Sharon and Phyllis endured resembled a distorted form of therapy, which will shed light on Alan's history as a therapist. While Chance might not immediately grasp the Martin twin switch, he could certainly suspect that Alan has lost his grip on reality. According to Y and R spoilers, Chance will strive to piece everything together as the plot unfolds. It appears that the real Alan likely met his end from that fall off the balcony in France, and with some contemplation, Chance might just connect those dots. Chance suspects somehow Martin switched with Alan. Chance may figure out that somehow Martin switched clothes with Alan during that fall from the balcony, or shortly after, assuming his twin's identity again. Regardless of the circumstances, Chance will soon uncover that Alan is the one accountable for the hardships Phyllis and Sharon faced. This revelation is bound to raise concerns for Traci's safety, particularly if he learns she's off to Paris with Alan to explore wedding venues. Before her departure, Traci might share some news with her family, and sensing the impending crisis, Martin could attempt to whisk Traci away from Genoa City before everything unravels. Will Chance rush to the airport in a bid to prevent Alan from leaving the country with Traci, making unsettling predictions about the future? Lily Winters and Damian's threat, a story that continues the war within in the world of intrigue and deception on the young and the restless. Lily Winters, a strong and intelligent woman, always knows how to stand her ground and protect what she loves. However, she can't help but feel that something is not right when Damian, the new man in her life, is not only a business partner but also seems to bring unclear threats. As the Winters family company faces new challenges, Damian's appearance seems to be no coincidence, but part of a larger conspiracy that Lily is gradually realizing. Damian, the mystery man. Damian King has made an impression on Lily from the first time they met. Not only is Damian a talented and skillful businessman, but he is also a charming person who always knows how to make people around him feel comfortable and confident. However, Lily is not someone who is easily fooled. Although it seems that Damian truly wants to build a cooperative relationship with her family's company, there is something in his approach that makes Lily feel confused. She realizes that Damian is not only interested in the company's development, but that he may be digging too deeply into the company's financial situation and strategy. A suspicious discovery. One day, Lily accidentally discovers a secret conversation between Damian and a strange man named Aristotle Dumas. Though she only hears part of the conversation, what she hears is enough to make her skeptical about Damian's true intentions. Aristotle Dumas, a name that no one in Genoa City's business world had ever heard of, seems very familiar to Damian. Although Lily has no idea who he is, she realizes that there is a deep connection between them, and this connection could affect the Winters family company. Lily's vigilance. With her first discoveries, Lily cannot help but discuss her suspicions with Devon. Devon, with his intelligence and leadership, immediately realizes the importance of investigating Damian and Aristotle. The two spend hours discussing precautionary measures, especially as Lily struggles to find satisfactory answers about Damian's true intentions. Determined, she continues to monitor Damian in a discreet way, while constantly seeking information about Aristotle Dumas. Yet, no matter how hard she tries, Lily still feels like she is missing an important piece of the puzzle, especially when Damian continues to pursue her fiercely, making her question his hidden motives. Damian's aggression and his relationship with Lily. Damian doesn't just show interest in work. He constantly tries to approach and get close to Lily in subtle ways, making it difficult for her to refuse. There are moments when Lily wonders if he truly likes her or if he is simply trying to manipulate their personal relationship to gain access to the Winters family company. Damian always appears to be understanding and listens attentively to what Lily shares about the company. Yet, this only makes her feel more insecure. His interest in the company does not seem like a normal business partnership. It feels like part of a hidden agenda. The truth behind Aristotle Dumas. With so many doubts weighing on her, Lily is determined to learn more about Aristotle Dumas. She investigates, trying to find people who may know of him, but all she receives is silence. It seems that Dumas is either a very private person or an anonymous figure in the underground world of business corporations. Lily begins to wonder, is Aristotle Dumas a ghost from Damian's past? Or is Damian working under Dumas's direction for a darker purpose? A growing sense of anxiety and insecurity weighs heavily on Lily. She feels that she is surrounded by secrets that Damian and Aristotle may be hiding. If she is not careful, she may become a pawn in a game she does not fully understand. Lily's struggle. Lily's relationship with Damian is becoming increasingly strained. She cannot decide whether to continue working with him as her trust in him fades. She knows she cannot let personal feelings interfere with professional decisions, but her suspicions about Damian's motives make her uneasy. Can she confront Damian directly to clear things up, or will she have to find another way to protect her company and family? The decisions Lily makes in the coming days could change the future of the Winters family. One small mistake could cause everything to collapse. With her guard up, Lily will continue struggling with questions about Damian's true intentions. Each step she takes leads her to learn more about not only Damian himself, but also the forces behind him. The Young and the Restless spoiler shock. Wednesday, full episodes March 19th, 2025. A tangled web of love, betrayal, and redemption. For years, the fervent whispers among devoted fans had built up an expectation that would soon rock the very foundations of their cherished world. A scandalous affair between Billy and Phyllis. In a time not so long ago, Such a revelation might have unfolded effortlessly, a shocking twist that fans could scarcely imagine. However, as the years passed, Billy had transformed into a man of unwavering principles, a steadfast pillar in a tempest of deceit and longing. His strong moral fiber and dignified nature had evolved into an unbreakable shield, one that would never allow him to tarnish his reputation or betray the trust that had been painstakingly built over time. In the hearts of his many supporters, Billy was no longer the reckless rogue of his past. He had become an embodiment of integrity, a man who would never dare to make a foolish mistake that would shatter the fragile bonds of loyalty. Yet, in the realm of relationships, perceptions are as volatile as the shifting sands of fate. Sally, who had long been entangled in a romance with Billy, found herself wrestling with a profound sense of insecurity. Every glance, every unspoken word between Billy and others stirred an undercurrent of doubt and fear within her. Despite her inner turmoil, Sally hesitated to confront him directly until now. When her thoughts turned to the prospect of betrayal in her mind, if Billy were ever to commit the ultimate act of infidelity, she would have the perfect justification to end the relationship without facing harsh judgment or the bitter whispers of outsiders. Yet, even as this notion took root, Sally was plagued by uncertainty, unable to find the precise reason or moment that would force her hand. It was as if her heart had been caught in an endless limbo between longing for trust and the dread of imminent collapse.